Is Ragnarok Origin Global really a dead game? Welcome back to Corky Gachas, and in this video I'm going to talk about the state of the game based on some of the updates and the QoL changes that have came to the game recently, as well as share my opinion on this topic based on the comments I have seen and also my perspective as an active player. And before I start, I'd just like to announce that I've recently released memberships for this channel, so if you're looking to support me and the channel so that I can continue to create good content for you guys, definitely check out the different tiers of memberships and join one that you're most comfortable with. With that out of the way, let's dive straight in. So before I share my opinion on whether I think the game is truly dead, I think it's important to recognize that there are in fact a lot of people selling their accounts and also a lot of friends that are quitting, and that is why this sentiment is being passed around so much, right? Everyone is claiming that this game is dead compared to like maybe 2 months ago. The sentiment is that RO is a new game, albeit with bugs and stuff, but not that many people are actually actively selling accounts, quitting, etc, etc. So just looking at the world chat, you will know that people are selling accounts, and probably these are the people with value in their account, right? The people that have no value in their account would have already quietly quitted, so they wouldn't really attempt to sell their account. So maybe the numbers are even higher. And just to take myself as an example, right? My friend group, I have 4 friends that joined this game with me, and currently only I'm left, guys. Only I am left. I'm the only survivor, and it is also partly because I'm making content on RO, so my investment in this game is kind of high, so that's why I still am struggling to hang on, right? I'm not exactly comfortably hanging on, so to speak, because of a couple of reasons. And to say why people are so tired of this game, right, we must first click on one thing and one thing only. The most obvious thing that everyone have felt it for themselves is this events tab. Once I click into this calendar, you will see your work schedule for your part-time job named ROO. Okay, we are not actually playing a game these days. I feel we are more doing a part-time job, and this part-time job starts at 2000 every single day. Okay, without fail, it will start. Guild feast, guild feast, guild feast, guild feast, guild feast, weekend banquet, and team party. Okay, so this is a work schedule that is very, very packed. In fact, I would say that it is almost ridiculous, right? And this is especially ridiculous if we just look at Sunday night, whereby there is War of Empyrean and it starts at 21:20 server time, very, very late. And not to consider the fact that there are also the daily events that you have to do, right? Your dailies that you have to clear. Although I would say here that there is some good things being done by Gravity. They do understand that it's taking a lot of people's time, so they increase the skip tickets limit each week to 60 plus, and they also allow more functions or more features to be skipped. So this is a win for Gravity. I do think that this can definitely alleviate the problem, but I feel that the events problem is a bit too massive right now, especially since most of the people that play this game, right, based on my analytics, I can tell is mid-20s to early 30s. So a lot of people already have kids, a lot of people have your wives to take care of, right? And they wouldn't be happy if they see your second job schedule like this. This is really, really ridiculous. I do think that we should definitely cut it down, but at the same time, I don't foresee it happening. For people that are hoping that this would happen, right, that the events, the dates will be shifted, like War of Empyrean can be shifted to maybe Friday, stuff like that. I don't see it happening because we are just blindly copy pasting Taiwan server. So I have not seen this being implemented in Taiwan server, which is also why I don't see this happening in global anytime soon. And this brings me to my second point about why I think that this game is potentially dying, because we are just blindly following Taiwan server. So there is no form of innovation from our global end. Everything is just trying to copy Taiwan patch. So everything is copy paste, just a convenient way. And like you guys have seen, right, the recent balance patch whereby it was first shadow patch, and then a lot of people in Discord were furious because they know that their characters have been nerfed, but they don't know where it has been nerfed, especially people that don't follow content or YouTubers that cover the Taiwan patch notes. They wouldn't know, right, that this is happening. So a lot of these people are shocked to see that their DPS have decreased overnight, right, without a notice. Like I've mentioned in my video before the patch notes happened, right, I did say that Gravity is going to shadow patch it, and they did not disappoint me. They did shadow patch it, and then subsequently had to do something. They had to post the patch notes because people were so furious and they don't know what's going on. So this is just one of the examples. I think it's really leading to the decline of this server and this game itself, because we are really not innovating based on the feedback that is given by a global base, which is arguably more than the Taiwan base, right? I think this game is more popular as a global than in Taiwan server. So correct me if I'm wrong. I do think that we should really respect the feedback of global players instead of blindly copying Taiwan patch notes. So this is just something that I also feel a lot of people are unhappy about. And going back to my first point, right, I'd just like to add a bit from my own personal take and opinion on this events, right? It is not the only problem that the game has that they have a lot of events, but also the events are very, very lame. They are very, very unfun, okay? Especially since the introduction of crossover, which is a bit more relevant, it's a bit more current, right? With the introduction of crossover, there are a lot of problems that are occurring due to the lag spikes and all these kind of things, whereby the enjoyment of each event is further decreased, right, by so much that I don't think this is really an event anymore. Imagine some of this game modes itself or some of these events have absolutely no event rewards. Would you still participate? Ask yourself that. If you wouldn't, then it's probably not fun for you anymore. And when it comes to War of Empyrean, I would say that right now it's still fresh, but of course this War of Empyrean, right, cannot compare to the old days of War of Empyrean that a lot of people have been expecting. So once War of Empyrean came out, I think this was also a driving force for people to quit the game, because they realized that their memories, their good fond memories of WoE is no longer there. It's being tarnished by this new form of WoE. In low server populations, WoE is very boring because they are just going to be a few main guilds and then they are going to take their own castles and they are not going to battle much. Perfect defense and the knight. And for populated server, it becomes Ragnarok, whereby everyone is just queuing to enter because of the map limit. So all this stuff, right, have already been highlighted in Taiwan server since the release of WoE in Taiwan server, and yet nothing has been fixed when it comes to global server. So they're absolutely learning nothing and they are not accepting any form of feedback, which is also why a lot of people are very, very disheartened with Gravity, because they have a lot of time to actually think about this, right, to make changes based on the feedback that is given in Taiwan server. But once again, going back to the second point, it's just copy pasta. There is nothing new and no improvements being made along the way. And on to my third point, which is also quite recent, which is the release of Alchemist, release of Creator, and also the patch notes that has been released in global server. A lot of people are not happy with the patch notes that have been released. Like I mentioned, right, a lot of them have been nerfed, and also the other classes that were strong, supposedly like Paladin, like I mentioned, right, didn't technically get nerfed. In fact, they got buffed. Only the whales got nerfed. So a lot of people are unhappy that they are not buffing the weaker classes. I think as far as I know, the Whitesmiths or Mastersmiths only have like a turret buff, right, which is quite laughable in my honest opinion. So quite funny that they buffed the turrets. I'm not sure if that's the biggest problem or biggest issue with Mastersmiths. And with the release of Alchemist and Creator, I would just like to share a real life scenario, right, because I was having lunch with my friend the other day. He already quit the game, I think, a month back. So we're just having lunch and we were talking about RO as usual. I'm just telling him that, hey, recently Creator Alchemist just launched. Hey, are you interested in coming back to play? Then he said that, hey, he really likes Creator, really liked Alchemist back in the day, right? He was waiting for Creator and Alchemist to be released. So I showed him some of the footage of people playing Creator and Alchemist and some of the sentiments and feedback. I just went into a Discord channel, into the merchant chat, and then see what are their thoughts on Alchemist. And then everyone was saying that Alchemist is very, very weak. So he just like was very, very disappointed. He expected it to be absolutely strong, just like in the old days, whereby they can throw a couple bombs and then the weak tank class can all lie on the floor, like I mentioned, right? But this is no longer the case, and also, right, reaffirm the fact that he quitting was the right choice that he made, right, long ago. So I wanted to actually go out and find out more about Alchemist, about Creator, and what their actual use in the game is. So I went out and asked my guildmate, which is Chalk Chips, you can see in the footage right now. I actually asked him to try using the acid demonstration on my class, right? Because I'm a paladin, it's a class that they are supposed to counter, so I wanted to see whether in fact the counter is there, in fact the counter is strong, and he is the top DP Alchemist and also merchant in my whole server. So 350k DP if I'm not wrong, against me like a 2k rebate guy, right? Is he able to easily kill me? And from what I have seen, you can see on the footage itself, right? First I tested with the Vid build, so I let him AD my Vid build. So he would first have to break my armor, and then he would have to cast again with casting time and also with the global delay before he can kill off me, compared to other whale classes, right, should be able to kill me off quite easily. And also when he break my shield, I can still have defending aura on. So this is one of the things I think like Alchemist is no longer a counter that much for Vid 10 class, and not to mention if he were to meet some of the other classes, right, that are not investing in Vid. As you can see in the footage, also I tested against my 1 Vid build, he did a lot less damage compared to the first time. So in PvP it's really a disadvantage from what I have seen. However, in the PvE end and MVP end, his damage is still very high. In time space anomaly, he's still top of the charts. So still very good from PvE, still very good from MVP perspective, as long as the MVP has Vid. And also I think that Alchemist for free to play and light spenders is actually good, because breaking armor of a whale, right, your impact is going to be much higher than doing DPS to them. But what I think is the biggest problem and why everyone is calling Alchemist weak is because they have those memories that they had in the old days of Ragnarok Classic, whereby Alchemist is a different role. So I would say that Alchemist right now is more of an offensive supporter rather than a DPS class. It's just that if people had no memories of Alchemist creator, it's a brand new job, I think people wouldn't be as furious and angry and calling for the buffs for Alchemist at all. So this is just my opinion. After I do some testing, right, this is my view. People might disagree with me on this, but definitely leave a comment in the comment section below based on your experiences of playing Alchemist or creator or facing them, right, in PvP or PvE, looking at their DPS. Is this really true? I do think that their role is currently just offensive supporter. And now that I've talked enough about why people are leaving the game, I want to go on the flip side to say that I don't think that it is all doom and gloom for Ragnarok Origin Global, and the reason is because of one thing, and that is the MVP change. So this is arguably one of the best changes that they have made, of course, albeit copying Taiwan server, but I do remember that Taiwan server had this update quite late into the game, right? But for us, they managed to implement it quite fast, which is why now even the free-to-play players, the casuals, right, will be able to get MVP and also have access to Dimic Cockwhale so that they can upgrade their classes to have a better gaming experience overall. And I think that this is absolutely key, because the majority of the gamers are the casual gamers these days. So catering to the casual gamers is absolutely key for us having a game that is not dead. Because without this free to play and these casuals, right, the whales will have no one to own. They will have no good impact of their top-ups, right? So they swipe the credit card, they don't swipe credit card, also feel the same because there's no one to fight. They can only fight against other whales potentially that have sold their account, trade accounts, etc, etc. So I do feel that the target audience should definitely be casuals and free-to-plays, and in this aspect I think Gravity did a really good job that they pushed it so early for this TR, and it did save a lot of the player base in my opinion from what I've seen, right? After the update, I did see a lot more casual players coming back to play the game, which previously they might have quit or put it aside. But now that they are able to get MVP, they're able to get the Dimic Cockwhales, potentially this game is more playable for them, potentially this game is more fun for them. So this is how I view it, and from what I've noticed, the numbers have kind of went up after the change was being implemented. And I do feel that if they were to continue going down the path of improving the game through a QL perspective to make the game less time consuming, there is hope for this game for sure, if they don't blindly just copy Taiwan server also. But definitely bring the good things to us, give us more free skip tickets, right? Don't just make it like 64, they can definitely give us more of this. And the next thing they can really do, like I mentioned, right, is to cut down the events. I'm not hopeful, but if they were to cut down the events, they consolidate, maybe have Guild Feast only on 2 days, and War of Imperium, all this nonsense. Team Party, if you want to have Team Party, sure, you can remove Guild Expedition, the rewards can consolidate, give us more rewards. Guild League itself, maybe it's a bit harder to incorporate because Guild League now they have a format, right? However, you can also potentially change it in a way that you can have all the Guild League matches instead of like 1 versus 1 match per day, right? You can do like 1 and then go to the next bracket, go to the next bracket, something like the other games do, right? So I feel that that is going to be very good, and continue going down the path of giving more freebies, right? More freebies so that people, the casuals especially, can feel progress even if they don't attend every single day. Of course, right, I also like to point out this is that for casuals itself, right, this schedule doesn't mean as much, because this schedule, right, is only strictly adhered to for people that really want to min-max all of their progress, to min-max all of the rewards that they can get. For casuals, maybe they just log in every few days, it wouldn't feel as painful for them, they might still think it's okay. So this is also one of the points I feel that maybe if they don't even change it, right, the suffering people are going to be the whales. So it's either the revenue down or the casual base go away. But for now, I think the casual base seems to be saved by the TR patch. So the next one they need to cater to for this event is mainly for the whales and the people that are serious about this game, serious about the progress. Once they cater to both of these groups, right, I do think that Ragnarok Origin Global can definitely go far, because if you were to compare it to other games, right, that we have in the market right now, Ragnarok Origin Global, the art style is really decent compared to some of the newer games. I know that a lot of people recently also quit due to Dragon Nest 2 coming out, but one look at Dragon Nest 2, I can tell you, right, this is Dragon Nest 0. This graphics, right, is like a game that's being made in the 2010s. It's not a 2023 release. So that game is really garbage graphics wise, I think. So you can claim that the gameplay is better for people that have quit and went to play Dragon Nest 2. Definitely share in the comment section below how you guys are playing that game. Is it fun or not? But from a graphic standpoint, it doesn't appeal to me at all. From a whole package standpoint, I do think that ROO has a lot of advantages. They just need to fix a lot of these issues that they have, right? Especially when it comes to the bugs. And I think this game can go really far. And that about does it for this video, where I touch on my opinion on whether the game is truly dying. And just on a last note, right, for me myself personally, I'm still hanging on, but I do think that if the game continues to not improve from that sake, right, from the especially the events, and because like I mentioned, I'm one of the people that are more min-maxy, so it feels bad for me to miss out on events, which is why I do think that if this continues on, I might also just go to another game. I'm currently looking at Reverse 1999. I think that is quite a good gacha game to actually play. The gameplay is kind of interesting, the story is kind of good, and also the graphics wise, it's really enticing with the animation. So I'll definitely be awaiting the release, but I don't think it's going to come out that soon. So for now, I'm going to continue playing RO unless I have something better along the way. Also check out this video over here, right? If you're interested still in playing ROO, definitely check out this video for a Zenny guide. I'll see you guys over there. This is Corky Gachas, signing off.